Again, Broncos country.
Really excited to chop up some Broncos with you all this week.
Bourbon, Broncos, and no BS.
It is the time, your favorite time of the week. We're not for the Raiders, Chargers, or Chiefs. So grab your brews and your fantasy league. We got that blue and orange blood that you bleed. The most loyal fans there ever could be. We are that mile high Broncos country.
Orange Weekly. Fans, brews, and Broncos news. What's up, Broncos country? Welcome to another episode of the Orange Weekly Postgame Podcast. I have Rob here with me. It's the Rob and KevDan show tonight. John will not be with us tonight. That's fine. We'll be able to handle the show just fine. You and I, man. How you doing?
I am ecstatic, Kevin. Ecstatic. A little jealous that the most of y'all were at the game, but that being said, let's go Broncos.
Oh, man, let's go Broncos. That was a hell of a game to be at for sure. It was unexpected. And so let's just dive in and kind of start off like we always do. And I want to hear your thoughts, before the game, what were you thinking? What was going through your head?
Honestly, before the game, much like everybody else, I was concerned and curious on which team was going to show up. As Denver has proved not only this season, but last season, we are a tale of two cities, Jekyll and Hyde, if you allow that. I think Bridgewater played well. I'm a little concerned that he played most of this game with some sort of leg injury. Let's see. Drew Lock did come in for a little bit. I thought he did okay until he threw that pick, and he was obviously upset about that. But again, I think that just comes with experience and time, under center and everything like that. But at the end of the day, we got the dub, and our division is so freaking close. It's literally going to come down to the last three games to find out who's going to make it where. I was incredibly shocked at how well we played.
Right. No, completely agree. Came out there and, I was saying before the game on the little bit of the pregame show we did, but just talking to others, that this is a game that the defense is really going to have to step up. We saw what Fangio and company did after the little mini bye. We had the Thursday night game and then played the Cowboys, and especially defensively dominated the Cowboys. And so it was like, was that a fluke, or, after these 2 weeks, are we going to be able to come in with a very solid, well-rested, but very solid defensive game plan, especially, and be able to stop the Chargers. The big thing is between Justin Herbert and Austin Eckler, those two guys right there could really make you hurt if you don't stop them and stop them early and stop them often. That was a concern, was just, are we going to be able to do that? Like you're saying, what team is going to show up? And, this game's either going to be painful, or, we're going to be in it and we're going to have a chance. I did not think it'd be a blowout, but it's kind of similar to what I thought with the Cowboys game. I was just hoping we'd be in the game and have it be close the whole time and not be too concerned about it. Right. But here we are. It was a great game. The guys played well. And so I guess kind of started off with the first quarter there. The Broncos had that first possession, and I was happy that we were moving the ball. We got some first downs. we got into field goal range, and I was like, okay, wow, we're in field goal range. We could even put some points up on the board, early on. And then we got a penalty, and that put us outside of field goal range, unable to convert. It was like, I think, a third down already, unable to convert or at least get it back into field goal range. And for me, I was like, oh, here we go. Like, this is it, we haven't seen the defense yet, but this is the same offense. Finally we see some movement on their first drive, but they shoot themselves in the foot, push them outside of field goal range. And I'm like, this is what's going to kill us if this keeps happening all game. So I don't know about you, man, but yeah, when I saw that first opening drive, I was just like, oh God, like, here we go.
Yeah, no, like I was telling you before we started the show, unfortunately, I dozed off a little too long on the couch and missed almost the entire first quarter.
It's probably a good thing.
But I did wake up and witness Teddy Bridgewater actually give some effort and give some heart, and run that in for the touchdown, which I was extremely surprised about.
Yeah.
When we were talking about last week with the Eagles game where he didn't even attempt to make the tackle, I think a lot of people, he lost a lot of credibility and a lot of respect in our minds. But with that running in with the touchdown, I think he gained a little bit of it back. But we got to take it week by week. And, we had a great, fantastic win against the Los Angeles Chargers. But, looking forward to next week, we got to go to Arrowhead and we got to play them damn Chiefs. And, but that's going to be for a whole nother topic. But, with this win, all I have to say is,
give me a hell yeah. Oh, yes.
That's all I got to say. I actually, I have a buddy of mine that was, talking quite a bit of smack before the game, and then he got real quiet real quick.
Of course.
Our defense played lights out. Absolutely played lights out. Our offense looked decent. I still think we have quite a bit of work to do. But that just goes with the territory. You got to put in the work, you got to put in the time to make the game plan and execute.
Right.
So,
yeah. It was a exciting game overall. And we'll break down more of it here in a second, but I do want to really quickly tell you guys about a fantastic offer we have for you from our friends over at DraftKings. So, I'm sure we all love an action-packed, high-scoring NFL game, kind of like what we saw against the Broncos and Chargers here. But with the latest no-brainer from DraftKings Sportsbook, you'll be a winner once a single point is scored. New customers who bet just $1 on any team to score can win $100 in free bets. It's really that simple. If Sportsbook isn't available in your state yet, you can still get in on the NFL action. Everyone can play for huge cash prizes all season long with DraftKings Daily Fantasy Sports Contests. And DraftKings is giving all new customers a free shot at millions of dollars in total prizes with their first deposit. Now, here's what we need you to do. Go ahead and download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code TPPN and bet just $1 on any team to score, and you win $100 in free bets. If they score, you score with promo code TPPN this week at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Of course, you must be 21 years or older in a state that supports sports betting. New customers only. Minimum $5 deposit and $1 wager required. One per customer. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? If you have one, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. Okay, so back to the game. We talked about the first quarter a little bit in a nutshell there. Broncos came out looking slow on offense, not too slow on offense, but making dumb mistakes. Defense came out there and really held their own. Kind of just looking at the stats right off the board. If you're looking at this, LA's top rusher was Justin Herbert with 36 yards. Austin Eckler had 12 carries for 31 yards. And that says a lot about our run defense. And you think about how banged up our defense is in general, you got to keep in mind that think about our linebacker core, but we saw a lot from not just Kenny Young, who's been huge since we signed him. I think the Rams have gone 1-2 since letting Kenny Young go, and we are 2-1 since getting Kenny Young, which is kind of crazy to think about. Also, or something like that. And then Von Miller going to the Rams. The Rams are 0-3, I think, with Von Miller, and he's had 0 sacks with them. You're muted.
I actually watched a little bit of the Rams game, over the weekend, and Von Miller did, make some plays, and God, I still miss him. Like, it's almost, I don't want to say it's depressing, but think of how much better our defense would have been with Von Miller on the field. I think, our secondary played absolutely incredible. So hats off to them. Hats off to Pat Surtain. Getting that pick 6, getting 2 interceptions in the game. It was really an incredible sight to witness. But our defensive line, I feel like we got after Justin Herbert more than people expected us to.
Right.
We definitely held Eckler to quite, a few yards, not too much. But I know we ran the ball 33 times, something
33. Yep, 33 times.
But that's what we have to do to win these games.
Yeah.
We have a 1-2 punch. We have Javonte Williams. We have Melvin Gordon. Like, we have to utilize the run game because it opens up the passing game. It opens up the RPOs, the play action, everything like that. I think, again, I don't want to put the cart before the horse, but, we still got work to do. There's still what, 6-7 games left?
6 games now, yeah.
3 of those are division games, or 4 of those are
4 of
division
them. 4 of them.
Yeah. So, we still got to keep grinding. We still got to keep getting better every week. I feel that and I don't want to say too much because I don't want to jinx us, knock on wood, but, I think the coaching staff is finally pulling their heads out of their asses. And again, I'm orange and blue through and through, but, some days they make it really freaking hard.
You know what? I would say that, yes, maybe they're, pulling their heads out their asses a little bit. There were still some problems on the coaching staff. Look, Fangio once again challenged a really, really, really stupid challenge. I think it was when when Justin Herbert went down for a slide and he challenged. I don't even know exactly what he was challenging. Like if Justin had control of the ball as he was going down for the slide, it was very, very clear that at no point did he lose possession of that ball. It didn't touch the ground. It wasn't, bobbling in his hands. And even then, especially when a quarterback slides feet first, the play is dead once the quarterback begins the slide. So at that point, the moment Justin Herbert started to go down, the play was dead. And there was nothing before that that would indicate that Justin Herbert did not have control of the ball. And Fangio threw a challenge flag on that. And that just still goes back to making me question, like, look, credit where credit's due. He, came up with a great defensive game plan, really mixing in man-to-man with zone coverage schemes to throw Justin Herbert off. I think they were expecting a whole lot more zone there, but he threw in a lot of man coverage that, kind of threw him off. But at the end of the day, you see a third-year head coach call a challenge on something like that, and it just makes me still question the foundation of, like, the understanding he has for his job. Like, what are you doing, bro?
Absolutely. I mean, it definitely makes you question, but at the same time, at least he's using them. Remember back in the beginning of the season, we were questioning why he wasn't using timeouts when, we'd finished the game and we had 3 timeouts left and we didn't use any of them. At least he's trying. He's still, I don't know, man.
There's a middle ground.
There is a middle ground.
He hasn't found it.
I just feel like we go back and forth. Like, he didn't use any challenges. Now he challenges dumb things.
Yep.
He's kind of old. You know,
Yeah. And not to be a
maybe his
discriminator,
vision
but
is
yeah,
bad. Who knows?
maybe.
Maybe we
Well,
gotta get him some binoculars or something.
whoever told him to challenge that, and I really hope there's not somebody in the booth that said, Coach, throw that challenge flag. This is a good thing to challenge. You have a good chance of overturning this, because they should be fired. I really hope it was just Fangio saying, I'm going to challenge this because, like, nobody's telling me to do this. I'm just going to challenge it, because that would make more
Shermer, he
sense.
needs to be fired.
Well, we'll get into Shermer in a little bit. But so, I mean, look, overall, I got to give credit where credit's due. Yeah, Fangio came out with a good defensive game plan. It worked, and it really, I think, building off the strengths of the players that are out there. So, the younger players, the Brownings, the Stearns. We have Kenny Young out there now, who isn't a new guy, or a young guy, but he is, newer to the team, I guess. But really
No
looking
pun
at,
intended.
yeah, no pun intended, but maybe a little bit there. So look, he did well. He did well. And this is something that, if we were sitting here at 5-6 now after losing to the Chargers, I mean, after every single one of these games now, it's really going to have a huge impact on the storylines for that week. This gives us hope against going to Kansas City and playing the Chargers. This team is feeling good about themselves. But it goes back to, what team are we going to get when we play Kansas City? Again, like you said, this is a conversation for another day, but look, we're still in that playoff hunt. We have not had a losing record yet this season. We've either been 500 or better all season long. And that's something we haven't said in 5 years now.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You stated it perfectly, but before, we have to play to our strengths. We're missing a lot of players due to injury, due to COVID, and we have to play to our strengths. I feel like our linebackers played pretty well on defense. Again, secondary played phenomenal, but our offense still has a little bit to do, a little bit of work to do. I believe the only players that scored offensive touchdowns were Javonte Williams and was it Sawburnt that had that touchdown?
Yep.
Yeah, Sawburnt that had that touchdown. So again, we got some work to do. But I feel that we will put in the necessary time and the effort. And I'm just hoping that we come up with a good game plan against Kansas City. Now, I know everybody's counting us out against Kansas City. I get it. I completely understand. But Kansas City is beatable.
Mm-hmm.
They've lost 3 games this season, I believe. I believe they're 7-3.
They're 7-5.
7-5.
Mm-hmm.
So, they've lost a few games. If Vic Fangio is the defensive guru, air quotes, as they put it, then he will go back and watch those games and figure out what prevented them from winning that game. And I think if he does that and he does his due diligence, I feel that we can beat anybody. We have the talent, we have the ability. It's just a matter of coming up with that game plan and executing.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, Kevin,
exactly.
So I know you, Jared and David and John were there, correct?
Yes.
All at the game.
Yep.
I mean that was probably when Pat Surtain got that pick 6, that place probably lost their mind.
It was crazy, to say the least. I mean, screaming, jumping, high-fiving, hugging, everything, right? And I mean, it was that way for PS2's first interception, in the end zone there, that Justin Herbert threw perfectly to him.
Yeah, if he wasn't in place, that would have been an automatic touchdown. Like that. It wouldn't even have been hard. I mean, hell, you and I could have caught that ball.
But the thing is, PS2 was in place perfectly, and Justin Herbert still threw that ball. Like, he didn't come out of nowhere. He kind of was there defending that other player, and Justin Herbert saw that and threw the ball anyway. Like, were getting in his head or something. He was trying to make a play. It was just a stupid ball to throw.
And I think it was after that second interception when Justin Herbert went over to the sideline. He was visibly upset, and that's I feel like that's the key. If you can frustrate a quarterback and you can get under their skin, you can knock them off their spot to throw, have them throw a couple interceptions, and just make it difficult for them throughout the game. That is the key to winning. That is 100% the key to winning. I know we're all about the Broncos, but to speak on the game, the late game yesterday with the Ravens, Lamar Jackson threw 3 interceptions in 1 quarter,
right?
And he still kept his cool. Like that's hard to do.
It
is absolutely difficult to do.
Yeah.
But I feel like our defense has the talent and has the ability to frustrate Patrick Mahomes and Justin Herbert and Derek Carr, to win these games. It's just a matter of, do we have the fortitude to push through the adversity and make it happen?
It would, considering we've done that at least once this year, and you look at the Dallas game, you're going into a stadium. I'd say that the Chiefs Stadium is more hostile, when it comes to just the crowd noise and everything. But the AT&T Stadium there was incredibly loud in favor of Dallas to start the game, and it's a game that nobody even expects you to win. Like if you lose that game, then nobody would bat an eye. Like, well, yeah, that's supposed to happen. Same thing here. You go into the Chiefs Stadium, yeah, that's supposed to happen. But the Broncos beat the Cowboys. And I guess even against this Chargers game, a little bit you could say, because the Broncos were the underdogs in this game. They were able to come in.
We didn't just beat the Cowboys. We
whomped them. We did shellac them. Yes, it was another great game to be at. I'm so glad I went there.
And my friends that are Cowboy fans, that's for you.
That's for you. I like it. I hope they're listening, because then maybe we can woo them to be Broncos fans.
I don't know if that'll happen, but I just like twisting the knife a little bit.
I like it, and just remind them that we have overall the winning record against them. They can never seem to beat us. Just saying.
And let's give a little shout out to DeMarcus Ware, who hopefully will be in the Hall of Fame this year.
Yep. I think he will be. But yeah, so I think this team is facing another situation just like they faced a couple times. Nobody expects them to win. The Chiefs are beatable, but they have really turned it on the last few weeks, and they're coming off their bye week. So what is that going to do? I mean, you give Andy Reid 2 weeks to game plan against us, and he's already really good in the divisional games. That's not looking good for us, but it's one of those things. Like, what team is going to show up? Which Broncos are going to show up? The ones that are, the ones that played against the Eagles, and just the ones that showed up against Washington, just or the ones that are coming out really strong against these teams, like the Cowboys and the Chargers and so on and so forth, so it'll be interesting to see. And really quickly, I do want to give a shout out to Joey B, who is watching us live on YouTube. So if you're listening to this on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, Stitcher, SoundCloud, wherever you listen to your podcast, really do appreciate you tuning in. Just a reminder that we do this live as well on YouTube Monday nights, right around 7 p.m. So make sure you follow our YouTube as well. Go give us a subscribe there. We're trying to hit 100 by the end of the year. Rob here has done a great job getting us close to it, but really want to be able to rename our URL so that it's like youtube.com/orangeweekly. But I can't do that until we get to 100. And so if you're listening to this, please go check out our YouTube and hit subscribe. Even if you turn the notifications on or off after that, that's fine too. Okay, that's fine. Just an
update, Kevin. We are at 78 subscribers.
78.
So we are 22 away. 22.
Mm-hmm.
Get your mom, your wife, your husband, your brother. Hell, get your kids to subscribe. My son subscribed and got a couple of his friends to subscribe too. So it's doable. We can get there.
Well, I will say that I have to give a shout out to our top YouTube fan, Dan Kev. Dan Kev is a great great follower. He's a huge supporter of us here at Orange Weekly. So thank you,
Love
Dan
that
Kev.
And yes, shout out Joey B. I see you.
So, Joey B, usually we save the comments here for the end of the show. But I do want to bring this up because it was something that I was very interested in was the crowd. There were 12,000 no-shows on the Halloween game against Washington. And that was, we were still doing pretty well and whatnot, but it was following a loss and it was on Halloween and still 12,000 no-shows. I really, 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 really would have thought, and that my bet was that we would have had double-digit no-shows this last week, especially 1, following the Eagles game, 2, following the bye week, 3, it being the holiday weekend with Thanksgiving. I just thought there would have been double-digit no-shows again. However, there were only 9,500-ish no-shows. It was under 10,000. So still a lot. And I don't blame them because of the way that the Broncos played against the Eagles. It's kind of one of those things like, why am I going to go support this team if that's how they're going to play at home? Like, that's not worth it, right? But yeah, so, the stadium continues to be sold out technically because the seats are bought, but people just aren't showing up to the games. And so it was very interesting to see that. And I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, let's see how they do against the Chiefs this next week, and then they come home and play the Lions. That Lions game is, again, getting a little ahead of ourselves there, but a game that we should be favored in, to say the least. But I don't know, man.
Wood, Kevin.
Knock on wood. It's one of those things. If I'm a Lions fan and I'm looking at the rest of my schedule and saying, hey, where can we find a win this season? You're kind of looking at the Broncos because that this team is 50-50. And if they show up, the terrible Broncos team shows up, you could get your first win of the season. And that's like, I don't like saying that, but that's kind of the way it is, man.
Does it make you feel dirty, Kevin?
It does.
Just a little
It does.
bit.
I don't want to be that team that handed the Lions their first win of the season. Like the Chargers did to the Browns several years ago. Like the Browns were undefeated, I think, until like the last 1 or 2 weeks of the season. They played the Chargers, and the Chargers lost to them. And everyone's just like, "Oh, haha, you're a Chargers fan. Like you guys like really suck." I don't want to be that team.
Yeah, no, we like I said, next week we go to Kansas City. I can confirm, at least right now, there is no snow in the forecast.
Thank God.
So I'm hoping that will favor us.
Well, no snow and no Locke playing. And here's how I can guarantee you that Locke will not be playing. The 2 times we've seen Locke this year are games where John went to the Broncos game. So you can blame him for Teddy getting hurt and Locke having to go in. It's fully John's fault. Those correlation is causation sometimes. And this is a prime example.
I want to see John defend himself on Tuesday.
Well, we'll see. I'll call him out tomorrow too and see what he says. Speaking of Tuesday, and we'll get to the Locke conversation here in just a second, but speaking of Tuesdays, just remember everyone that we have a ton of content for you all here at Orange Weekly between live shows and podcasts. So Monday night live, we have Orange Weekly After Dark that starts after Monday Night Football, which I just lost some money on the game tonight because screw Washington. But that's what I get. And Tuesday night, we have Bourbon Broncos No BS. That also starts at 7 p.m. Mountain Time. We have a live pregame show, live halftime show. Remember that we are the original live Broncos halftime show. We are the only ones that started it. Nobody else was doing it when we did. And now a prominent sports radio station in Denver decided to start doing a live halftime show as well. So it seems like over the last 2 years, all of a sudden everybody else wants to do one after we started it. So.
Their name shall not be mentioned.
It rhymes with the GAN. So, we'll just go with that.
And you never know. You might see me pop up on the halftime show. You might see me pop up on the pregame show.
Yep.
You might see me pop up on the Tuesday show. You never know.
You never know. But yeah, so between those shows, the post-game podcast, the pre-game podcast, again, on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify, all those places, wherever you listen to your podcasts, we are there. And so just remember to check us out there as well. Okay, Rob, I want to get your take on this because the hot discussion topic of the week is Drew Lock and what we saw him do for the little bit there at the end of the second quarter. Really just kind of giving the momentum to the Chargers, and I think solidifying his future in the NFL. And so what do you think, man?
Well, I mean, as everybody has, it can be, seen throughout the videos. I was riding with Locke. I thought, after last year when Drew Lock won the 4 of the 5 games, the only game he lost was in Kansas City in the friggin' snow.
In his first year, yeah.
I was riding with Locke heavy. I thought Locke is the future, and I still do. I hope we don't get rid of him. I think he has a lot of potential, but he definitely, when he came in, he didn't really have a mentor. I mean, who was our quarterback at the time? Joe Flacco, and Joe Flacco didn't like take him under his wing and do the right thing. Joe Flacco was like, I'm the starting quarterback. F you. You just figure the shit out for yourself.
Yeah.
So I think ultimately he got screwed from the get-go. Same thing with Tim Tebow. I'm going back a few years. I feel like Tim Tebow got screwed too. That guy put me through more cardiac arrests during games than anybody. I'd be perfectly calm one minute, then the next minute I feel like my heart's going to explode because he waited till the last 30 seconds of the game to win the damn thing. Drew Lock looked good. I'm not going to say he looked great. He did have the interception, but he looked good. I feel like if you give him time, he has the arm strength. He has the talent to do the job, 100%. I still feel that he has a little bit to grow. I was hoping this year he would take that Josh Allen type leap and win the starting job, out of camp, and have those incredible numbers that Josh Allen had last year. So I still feel that Drew Lock can be the franchise quarterback of this team moving forward, but he's got some work to do, and we can't just put it all on him. We can't just say, okay, you're going to be the franchise quarterback, go figure it out. Like, he needs a little bit of help. He needs a team around him. He needs an offensive coordinator that's going to call a game plan to his strengths. Yeah. He's not a Lamar Jackson runner, but the dude can run. He's not I don't know. He's got a pretty damn good arm. I feel like he could throw the long ball, but he just needs a little bit of help, figuring out his reads a little bit better. Right. You've seen it the 2 times this year, and you've seen it last year. When he has the time and he doesn't have somebody in his face, he has the ability to get the job done and make the plays. But the second that he has pressure, he's what, a second-year rookie? Like, the first year you don't really get too much experience. The second year, you get a little bit more, and then it's like trial by fire. And by the third year, you should kind of have a base knowledge, but we've changed offensive coordinators and offensive playbooks so many freaking times. Like, you got to cut them a little bit of slack. I would like to see them. I believe Drew Lock has 1 more year on his rookie contract.
I believe so, yeah.
Next year he should be a free agent. I would like to see them give him 1 more year. Whatever happens with Teddy happens with Teddy. But give the kid another year. Let's see what happens in camp. Let's see what happens in the offseason. Hopefully he's not, going out and doing dumb shit like Henry Ruggs. Rest in peace to the families affected by that tragedy.
Right.
But at the same time, like, he's got the talent. Like, the kid has, he's got charisma. He's got the arm strength. He's got the ability. He just needs a little bit of guidance. And I mean, if I had a perfect wish, Kevin, if I had 1 wish for Christmas when it comes to Broncos football, you're going to laugh at me. I know you are. But I would love to see Peyton Manning come out and mentor that kid and steer him in the right direction. Right.
Now, I mean, there were reports that Peyton Manning did help Drew Lock over the offseason. I don't know what he's doing, if anything, now during the course of the season.
But I mean, like, really
mentor,
really work with him.
Yeah, and kind of be an off the field QB coach, or consultant, if you will.
Dude, if Peyton Manning would come out of retirement and go into coaching, I could die happy.
Who knows? I think it's a matter of time till he comes back into football. But he's very happy with what he's doing right now. That's
Peyton,
for sure.
if you're listening, we miss you.
Well, of course he listens. I mean, that's well. What do you think? Of course, Peyton listens. The whole Broncos team listens, man. This is the Broncos podcast, dude. I like what you're saying. In spirit, I think you hit a lot of really good points. What I think is going to happen, though, between the way Locke performed when he was put in against Baltimore and the interception he threw in this game, that's what teams are going to remember. That's what this Broncos team is going to remember. And I could see us trying to get some trade value for him. Maybe a 6th round pick, because what I see happening is, this coaching staff gets fired at the end of the year. Like, let's just say we don't make the playoffs. Even if we make the playoffs, I think there's still a good chance this coaching staff might, get fired at the end of the year. If we are able to pick up a Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson, I think we keep Teddy as the backup and try to move on from Drew Lock.
Let me throw a monkey wrench in it, Kevin.
Okay.
What if let's say we get Aaron Rodgers
Mm-hmm.
and some team offers us some ridiculous trade for Teddy, right? What if Aaron Rodgers mentors Drew Lock?
I think that'd be great. Like, I love I love Drew Lock. I'm a big supporter of him. I just know that the perception of him, I think people are going to look at how he performed when he had a chance to shine, and how he's blown both opportunities. That's what people are going to remember. I think his career right now is looking kind of like a Trevor Siemian career, where he'll be a 3rd string somewhere, and eventually he might get, called up to be the backup or even a starter based off of, injury situations. And the starting experience he has is really good. I just think that he's more or less solidified his future in the NFL. I think, and I'm obviously not in the mind of George Payton. I wish I was, because I'd love to know what that guy's thinking right now. But I think if we're moving on from the coaching staff, we're not going to get any trade value from Teddy. I just don't think that's going to happen. Since he's on his contract year is up at the end of this year anyway. If anything, and the way George Payton is trying to accumulate draft picks, I think he's going to try to get something for Drew Lock. Teddy would be great as a backup. And it goes back to, can we get one of those big names this year? Because I think he's going to make a real push for it. Now there's an interesting situation we got to think of, that while winning is great, I, at the same time, I'm conflicted, man. Like, I want the Broncos to win and do well, but you also got to think what that means for the future. Because if the Broncos win and do well and make the playoffs and get the 2nd seed in the AFC West, that very well could mean that we keep this coaching staff. And we are then also going to have the 2nd place schedule for next year. And the way that would look right now is, let's see, we're going to be playing the AFC South and the NFC West. So aside from the divisional games we'd have, our home games, the way things sit right now, obviously with 6 weeks left to play after this, we'd also be playing the Texans, the Colts, the Cardinals, the 49ers, and the Patriots at home. And our road games would consist of the Jaguars, the Titans, the Rams, the Seahawks, the Bengals, and the Saints. I don't trust Fangio enough, and company, and Shermer enough, to be playing against those kinds of teams. Look, 3 of our teams, or 3 of our wins that we start off the year with, were against the worst teams in the league. We're not going to get those easy JV games, if you will, next year. I'm just worried about us having that situation where we we decided to sign a contract with Fangio for another 2 years, and now we're kind of in this holding pattern where, well, we're dealing with, at least Fangio for another 2 years. And it's conflicting to me, man. Like, I don't want us to lose on purpose. The team's obviously not going to lose on purpose. If anybody says we need a tank for a draft pick or whatever, players don't tank on purpose. The teams don't tank on purpose. And I'm not saying that. And I'm not wishing that. I'm not asking for that. It's just, I really, really, really want this team to move on from the Fangio era.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And going back to what you just said, let's not even begin to talk about the Patriots. Okay. I got a buddy at work that is like a Patriots fanatic, and he's like, what is it? Mac Jones Mike Jones?
Yeah. Mac Jones
is the second coming of Tom Brady and all this shit. Shout out to you, Tim. But, he's not.
It's Belichick. If anybody says we could have gotten Mac Jones in the draft, do you really think Mac Jones would be performing the same way he is now under Vic Fangio and Pat Shurmur? Hell no. Hell no. That is Bill Belichick doing that. So tell him to shut the hell up, because he obviously is just drinking the red and blue Kool-Aid and has his head up his ass. Okay. Like, there you go. That's what I have to say to Patriots fans.
I'm going to play this clip for him tomorrow.
Do it. Please do. This is what I don't know what his name is. I'm going to call him Steve. Steve, shut the hell up. Okay. Anyway, that's what I have to say. Tim, shut the hell up.
Oh, it's going to be awesome. I'm going to march right into his office tomorrow morning.
Listen to this.
You to watch something. No, but I mean, you're right. If that's the way, if those are the teams that, moving forward, if that's the case, like, that's going to be a tough schedule. We had the 3 games against the 3 worst teams in the NFL, and we did what we were supposed to do. We beat them, and we beat them, well. We beat them, whatever the word
handily,
is.
Yeah,
handily. But at the same time, you're right. We have to look towards the future. Would I love to see Aaron Rodgers come to Denver?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would. Russell Wilson, I don't know. He's talented. I just don't. I don't know. I struggle with short QBs, and I just feel like you don't have the vantage point versus a quarterback that is 6 foot or taller.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
I mean, for crying out loud, we had Brock Osweiler. He was like 6'8" or some shit. I mean, the guy was a freaking tree, but he wasn't that great as a QB.
Yep.
Although he did beat the Patriots, so take that, Tim. But I haven't spent any time at all looking at the quarterbacks that are going to be in this draft coming up. I'm hoping that with you and the rest of the crew that we can dive into that together. But that's going to be a future show, as Orange Weekly does every year.
Mm-hmm.
Again, everybody that's listening, please go to YouTube, hit the subscribe button, follow us on all our social medias: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and just show our support. But yeah, I think you're right, Kevin. We definitely need to look towards the future. But right now we need to just concentrate on the game plan that we need to come up with Kansas City moving forward. And that is the next step. Mm-hmm. We got to take this one step at a time, and move forward and just keep grinding and putting in the work.
Yep. No, you're completely right. And I think the last thing I'll say is, if we do go through the draft to get a quarterback, I don't want them to be developing under Pat Shurmur. Like, that's just a recipe for failure. I'm sorry. So, again, there's a lot of time between now and the end of the season. We still have 4 divisional games left. Another against the Bengals for an AFC game. So 5 of the 6 games we have left are AFC games. And this whole division is wide open.
Joke, bro.
Bengals are no joke. So that's another game where it's going to be what Broncos team decides to show up. You don't know. It's going to be interesting. So Look, Fangio and company know that they're coaching for their lives, at least as Broncos coaches. There's a very good chance that the Broncos could get in the playoffs. But what does George Payton see that as? Is that okay, we can continue to build this team around this coaching staff to put us in a position to win Super Bowls? Or, hey, I appreciate everything you've done. Look at the talent we have. We're still going to move on. But like you said, look, this next week we got the Chiefs. We're going on the road. It has been flexed to a Sunday night game. And
prime time, baby. Prime time.
Fangio has plenty of tape to watch the Chiefs, and it's not like we haven't faced them before. And we are all dying to beat the Chiefs for the first time. And this is we haven't beat them in 5 years. They've beat us 10 times in a row now. We are all absolutely dying to beat the Chiefs. So
thanks for pouring salt on the wound, Kevin.
I'm just saying, look, this has got, at some point, something has to go in our favor against the Chiefs. This is absolutely insane. So
is it wrong to say I hope our defense hits him hard enough that he's like, yeah, I'm gonna sit down for a little while?
I'm gonna sit down for a minute. Yeah. Well, that happened a few years ago and we still lost the game. So I don't know, man.
I just don't know what the answer is. God damn it.
I don't know what the answer is. I'd feel a little bit better if the Chiefs weren't coming off a bye week, but they are. And so now I'm just like, so I don't know. I'm going to hold my breath. I'm going to expect the worst, but hope for the best. And we'll see what happens. So, but look, we're going to cover that game a whole lot more as the week goes along. Make sure you join us on all our other shows. To kind of close this out, Rob, again, just focusing on this win against the Chargers. We learned a lot about Drew Lock. I think we also learned a lot about the defense and the talent we have, especially on offense. Look, the young guys we have really, really have been stepping up. Again, Stearns, Browning, Javonte Williams, you guys have been looking fantastic. And I don't want to forget Melvin Gordon. I think he had 4.9 yards per play. Let me double check that.
And I know we didn't have a lot of production from Cortland Sutton or Tim Patrick. But,
Nope.
We've got them for the next at least Tim Patrick for the next 3. We have Cortland Sutton for the next 4. So, shout out to George Payton for getting that done. Our receiver room is going to look dangerous next year.
Very enticing for a big quarterback to come in and be able to lead this team to a Super Bowl.
Absolutely.
We really are on the cusp talent wise. The question is leadership, especially on the coaching staff side. But looking at the way these players are playing, PS2, man, this guy is the real deal. Again, give him a couple more years experience and just think about how great Pat Surtain is going to be. You're talking about, him being in the conversation for Rookie of the Year. I'm sorry, he should be leading the conversation for Rookie of the Year. So I don't know, man. That's where I'm at with him. But this team has shown a lot of positives for sure.
You can't tell me that when he caught that pick 6 that you didn't get flashbacks of Champ Bailey running down the sideline.
I sure did.
Go. Come on.
Oh, there was where was it? I think I have a picture of the stat line there. Let me pull this up. But you're talking about, okay, well, what are some things you're going to back up this argument for, Rookie of the Year? He reached a top speed of 22.07 miles per hour on a 70-yard pick 6, the fastest speed by a defensive player as a ball carrier over the last 5 seasons.
Let's go, Pat Surtain.
He leads all rookies in EPA when targeted this season and ranks 4th among DBs at negative 21.7. So, man, just thinking about running 22 miles per hour, but then also just thinking that he's the fastest defensive player as a ball carrier over the last 5 seasons. I mean, this guy is the real deal. And you build a defense around that and some of the other pieces we have. You build an offense around the receiving core we have, Javonte Williams, because Melvin Gordon's more than likely not going to be here next year. We have pieces in place. Can we stay healthy? Can we build around that? Can we get a quarterback? And can we get a solid coaching staff in here, and this team can look phenomenal really easily.
No, absolutely. What you were saying before, our receiving core is definitely enticing for one of these quarterbacks that could be a free agent after the end of this year. But I feel like, let me ask you a question, Kevin. Would you keep the 1-2 punch of Melvin Gordon and Javonte Williams if we had a different coaching staff that could get Melvin Gordon to stop fumbling the damn ball?
Considering that's just kind of what Melvin Gordon has always done, I don't see that happening like with any coaching staff. I think that's just him. But do I like the idea of the 1-2 punch? Yes. I mean, that goes, I think pretty much anybody would say yes to that, but it needs to be the right person. Is Melvin Gordon that guy for the next 5+ years? No. Can we find somebody like him? Yeah. I mean, can we find somebody like him? I don't know if we want to find him through the draft. I think between our cap space and the draft picks we have, we can make some trades or whatnot to get somebody else in there. I don't know who it would be, but yeah, the Javonte Williams with somebody similar to Gordon who maybe doesn't fumble as much. Yeah, I mean, fantastic opportunities there. But just Shurmur in general, man, just really quickly about him. Look, some of the play calling he had this week was just not good. I mean, it's 3rd and longs and he's calling short, quick passes that are 2-3 yards deep like that. Why are we even calling that play? Right. So there's still some things with Shurmur that I think just Shurmur does what Shurmur does, and it's not good. So
Shurmur does what a Shurmur does.
So anyway, it's too frustrating to keep. I sound like a broken record with him at this point. It's just, look, we were able to win the game, and that's great. Does that mean that we were a fantastic team? No, I think there's still a lot of issues on the play calling side and some of the game management side, and that goes to coaching. But player execution wise, it was a fantastic game.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like I said previously, I know we're getting close to wrapping it up, so I'll just kind of throw my final thoughts in here.
Do it.
The game was great. Defense played phenomenal. Offense played okay. But like I said before, offense definitely still has a lot of work to do. But moving forward, our next big test is going to be against the juggernaut known as the Kansas City Chiefs. But if our defense plays like that,
yep.
I think we got a chance, Kevin. I really do. If our defense plays like that and we can rattle Patrick Mahomes and throw him off his game, and kind of, I mean, we're not going to be perfect. I mean, hell, they've got Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill, they've got Patrick Mahomes, Mecole Hardman. Like, I could go on and on and on and on. But with that being said, and they are coming off of bye week, it's going to be a tough game.
Mm-hmm.
But if Fangio can go back and watch them 5 games that they lost and pick up a thing or two, I think we got a good chance to beat them. Even if we split the series with the Chiefs, that'll still keep us in the hunt for the playoff.
Oh, easily.
So,
easily.
Broncos country, all of our OW Orange Weekly, followers and listeners, let's get prepared, and let's if you're going to the game, show out, be loud, and let's take it to them.
Let's do it. Rob, thanks as always. You're fantastic. To all our listeners, thanks again. Make sure you're following us everywhere, subscribing to us on the podcasts, on YouTube. Please think about giving us a 5-star review. That helps us out a ton. And if you haven't heard of us before, like, we are all about the fan interaction and doing this for you, all the fans. So any ideas or suggestions you guys have for us, send them our way. If there's something we can do to make the show more interesting for you all, that's what we're here to do. So.
And maybe Orange Weekly will get some merch going. Just a little hint, hint, wink, wink.
Wink, wink.
We may or may not have some things in the work.
I love it. So anyway, hey, everyone, thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. Rob, thanks again. But I think it's time for us to end it, as always, on a very strong Go Broncos. Take care.
Do what I like, yeah, what I like, yeah, I do what I like. Sipping goose, if it's right, and I go with the flow. Yeah, I go with the flow. Yeah, I go with the flow. Cause I know I'm the show. In the zone, here I go. In the zone, here I go. In the zone, here I go. Yeah, they know I'm a pro.